we try to look into this question that says that, okay, we try to first copy paste the question itself. I think the best way to do it would be just look at it and select it like that and give it the space to just paste it somewhere here like that. And then try to select it a little bit, put it somewhere on the up. So that's the question that we have to solve. So we have to make a DFA out of it. And it says that you have to take care of two things. The first thing is that all pairs of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. So all pair of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. Oh, just give me a minute. And what that translates to is that, okay, let's just write it like that. Occur before all pair of consecutive ones. So what it says is that 1100 is the situation that should happen, or all pair of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. So this is not possible. We look at a situation and we say, okay, this is a not. So 1100 is not possible. Okay, we say that this is not possible. And whenever we look at a question, we try to look at the most least clear thing that is clear to us. So it could either be anything, and what's clear to us is what we move forward with. So if we know that, okay, we have to make a question that is a not of 1100, we can start with the most easiest thing. We can start with the most easiest thing, and I can tell you what I mean. What I mean by that is that we can start with the easiest thing that we can proceed with, and that's this condition, the not of it. But before that, we can make a contains that it contains 1100. So how would that look like? That if I say, okay, a machine starting from this state reads a 1100, reads Q1, goes to Q2, goes to Q3, goes to Q4. Okay. And in this way, it reads a 1, 1, 0, and then when it goes here, it reads a 0, and then it's accepted. This quite much makes sense, right? That, okay, it has everything that we need. We try to first make for the contains 1100, it contains that. Let's forget about the not contain. We try to focus on this, that it contains 1100. This is for now our goal, and then I will tell you how I can make the question that satisfies the answer that satisfies this question. Okay. Now what we look at is that, okay, this is an accepting state because I 1100 it contains, then is the minimal. Always try to make the minimal DFA first. Then look at this. This is the accepting state, and this is a bit far away from the accepting one. So the one that is the least away from the accepting, try to start from that one. I have already given a 0 somewhere else. I can give a 1 somewhere else because in DFA you can only give one thingy in one direction. For example, our alphabet in this contains only 0 ones. So I have already given 0 here. I can give a 1 somewhere else. That's all I can do. I cannot give a 0 somewhere. And it becomes obvious that, okay, now I have to deal with a 1 somewhere. Where should I send the 1? That makes it easy to think. So I already give a 0 somewhere. Now I give 1 somewhere. Where do I give 1? I say, okay, if I give 1 here, you already read a 1, read another 1, and go read a 0. But at this stage, it already has read a 1. So if I say go here and read a 1, what this means is that when the machine is over here or it reaches this point, it already has, it's supposed to read a 1 because for now I didn't give 2 arrows anywhere. I just give 1 arrow. And when the machine is here in this stage, it should already read a 1. It should have already read a 1. Technically speaking, it should already have a 1. And when it has a 1, it can read another 1, and then a 0, and then a 0. So 1, 1, 0, 0, and that's what we want. we try to make a strict condition where it only contains 1100 and nothing else for now. Let's look at it like that. So at this point, when the machine is here, it should already read a 1. And when it already has a 1 and it goes here, from here, if it goes back here, we know that the machine already came from this side. That's why, because if it's in Q2, you cannot just jump to Q2 straight. This is a starting state. Start. You cannot jump directly to Q2. You need to start from somewhere. And when you start from here, you already have ones, one, one, one. You already have two ones. And when you have already two ones, the best thing you could do is you can either go here in case and then read another, like read a 1 and then 0, 0. Also, for example, 1, 1, 0, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, and then 1, back again, go back here because we already did this one. 1, 1, see? 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and that also gets accepted. Yeah, sorry guys, what I think here is a little mistake that I did. It should go back here instead. And why? The reason is that, see, in the previous step, if I send it there right now, let's see, we have to lock the word. This is where I try to write it down, that what it should let us make. But in this case, if we read a 1, 1, 0, and we decide to go on this path, we say 1, 1, 0, 0, and then again we locked it. We locked the condition. 1, 1, 0, 0, we locked it. Now we looked at the other situationship and we say, okay, 1, 1, 0, 0, it went away. And now after that, we can say what should happen with this other dude. So with this one, oh, with this dude, what we can do is that we can say if it reads a 0 here, it needs to read a 1 somewhere. And if it already read, we are trying to lock, we're trying to make contains 1, 1, 0, 0. And why I'm doing it, I want to clear some concept. So 1, 1, 0, 0. But in this case, 1, 1, this needs to read a 1. It needs to read a 1 somewhere. And when it reads a 1, it needs to read another 1. This makes perfect sense. 1, 1, 0, 0. And it's accepted. Where does this go if it reads a 0? Like technically speaking, if it already had a 0, I can set it here and say, okay, read 0, 0, 1. But I can also send it to in the beginning because the condition says contains. And as long as the condition is fulfilled, I mean, nobody cares. So, and that should technically be the right one, despite the fact that it should not like go around with everything. But if I say, okay, read a 0, then go back and start again because you're disrupting the pattern. The pattern is 1, 1, 0, 0. And if you want to read a 0, go back. If you want to read a 0, then you can stay on this one. And here, of course, read 1, 0. This is a DFA for contains 1, 1, 0, 0. And if I want to make not contains, I will just flip it. No, I will just take the accepting states and make them non-accepting and accepting, accepting non-accepting and non-accepting accepting. And that's the only way it will work around. And that will be not contains. But if you pay closer attention, technically speaking, our question says all pair of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. Let's try to copy paste the question back again here. We take the dragging tool and we try to copy the question and we try to paste it here on our page here. It says that all pair of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. And what I see here is that all pair of consecutive zeros. Let's go back to the tool situation. All pair of consecutive zeros occur before all pair of consecutive ones. which means if there is anywhere a pair of consecutive 0, it cannot occur after a consecutive 1. So a consecutive 1 happens, then no consecutive zeros. No consecutive zeros, okay? And when something like that happens, when you cannot do that, you are supposed to do everything else, but not that. For example, you are supposed to do this, because that's not really two zeros. When a pair of consecutive 1 happens, you can do whatever you want apart from even a single 0. That's also fine. But no double zeros after that. Before that is totally okay. It's good. But after that, no, not possible. And because it is very similar to the condition of the not of 1100 that you cannot do this, it is, of course, this will be part of the DFA, because it is also so if you make a DFA that does not let you do 1100, it is also the part of the DFA of this question, but it's not 100% right, because it's only just part of it. It should let you do other stuff as well. For example, 1110 is allowed. 111011, this is also allowed. 1110 is also allowed. So these are some of the things that you can do, and all of these possibilities are possible. Anyways, just let's remove this, and I hope you understand the question. And because we already made for contains, what we need to do here is we need to just switch it around and make for not contains. And let me try to copy this. Here, or maybe just everything. Let's copy all of this. And let's just try to paste it on a different page, because here we just wanted to understand the question. Now we have for the contains, we can clean it a little bit so it's easy to understand and look into that. Okay, this is a starting state. Is 1100, it contains 1100. You cannot make, so how you test it is you try to do the not of it. Like, okay, if I did not want it to make, why is it like, so if I didn't want it to make one, so what we did here is we made a DFA that contains 1100. We try to not make it with this. That's how we know that, okay, we made the right one. So is there a possibility where we cannot make 110? Let's see, 0 0 0, it stuck here. No. You have 1 0 1 0 stuck here. 1 0 1 0 1 0 stuck here. You cannot do anything. 1 1 1 1 1 1 stuck here forever. You cannot do anything. Just 1 1 1 1 1, and you will always be in a non-accepting state. So 1 1 1 1 1, because you already read the word 1 1. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, it will be always stuck in here forever, like 1 1. And if you want to move forward, then it needs to read a 0. 1 1 0, and then another 0, and then it of course it at least contains that. And we try to make a knot of it. I think this is working. You can make a knot of it, and how that works is this was the accepting. Now this becomes the non-accepting, and everything else becomes the accepting state. This becomes the accepting, this becomes the accepting, this becomes the accepting, this becomes the accepting state. So now we see that, okay, all of these have become accepting states. And what you can do now is that you can say, okay, 1, it doesn't contain 1100. Why? Because the moment it reads a 0, it goes into the trap state. So the moment it will read a 0 here, it will go into the trap state, and from that place, it's just not, it can never make a 1100. So 1, let's try to test it. 1 1 0, and then 0. So let's try to make 1100 here. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 forever. 1 1 forever. 1 1. So 1 1 or 1 1 forever, like as many times as you want, and then a 0, and then a 0, and then a 0, but that's not accepting here. Here you have, but not accepting. So it's not accepting state. So this also is right, but it's not entirely right. Why? Because this is good solution for 1 1 0 0 not. This is good for that. But we have to look into the point that what if the user wants to give 1 1 0 1, and in this question that we are talking about, this should be allowed. This should be allowed. So in that way, it's not really a not of 1100. It also allows for, technically speaking, this is right. This question is right because it did satisfy the base condition, but it didn't allow all the possibilities. Like for example, 1 1 or 1 0. That's also possible in the based on the question. Based on the question, this should be possible, but with this DFA you cannot do it because it's just a not of this. The main condition this DFA satisfies is just do a not of 1100. But if the question is a bit more, then it's asking you more than like basic stuff. It's asking you more. And what you do is that you look at the whole the tracking of this. For example, 1 1 0, and then for example, I want to make 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 1. And technically speaking, well, let's see, 1 1 0 and 1. This also gets accepted. And I think that's something really cool. For example, let's see, 1 1 0 1, that's accepted, and 1 1 1 0 should also be accepted. 1 1 1, I cannot do it. I cannot do 1 1 1 0 because this should be possible. This one, because there are no consecutive zeros here, and if there are no consecutive zeros, that should be accepted. The only problem is the consecutive zeros after 1 1. So 1 1 0 1 1. So let's try 1 1 1. Where do I go 0? Because there is, I cannot do that. I can only do 1 1 1 1, and then as many times as I want 1 until I go to the next step and say, okay, 1 1 1 1 0. These are 4 ones and then a 0, and I cannot do this one. Triple 1 and a 0, 1 1 1, and then I cannot do a 0. So in that way, I have to make some changes in this situation. What I can do is that if I say, how can I make 1 1 1 0 1 1 1, if I looped this on its own, for example, like the Q3, let's try some changes. 1 1 1 0. Okay, now that's satisfied. That's satisfied. 1 1 1 0. Now I can make 1 1 1 0 here. And of course, it doesn't let me do 1 1 1 0 and 0. That's not possible as well. So this also, we satisfied another condition. Now we are fixing the DFA to meet all more possibilities that are technically possible with the question. Okay, and then say, okay, 1 1 1 0. That's also possible. Good. What about this dude? What it's doing is that it's telling, okay, read a 1 and go back to this state. 1 1 0 1. Let's remove this and let's test it against some other strings. And the best thing to do for now would be maybe just copy the whole page and paste it like. So what happens over here is that we say 1 1 0 1 0. Okay, now this one here, right here, we can question and contemplate a little bit that what are the other possibilities that were not possible with this, and what can be changed to make that possible. So because just like we said that our question is not just simply it cannot do 1 1 0 0, it should also let us do all sorts of stuff with it. So 1 1 1 1 1, that's possible. Yeah, and with this DF it's possible. 1, 1, 1, 0, and is that possible? Let me see. Let me see. 1, 1, 1, 0, 1 is possible. 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, and then 0, 1, and then 1, 1, and then 0, and that's all that we can go. So let's look at it. 1, 1, any possibility of 1, this is perfect. And then let's start with 1, 0, this is possible. And what about 0, 1? 0, 1, 1. 0, 1, 1. I know, I see. So it says that's it. But what about 1, 1, 0, 1? 1, 1, 0, 1. This should also be accepted. 1, 1, 1, 1. You can stay there and get accepted. 1, 1, 0, 1. 1, 1, 0, 1. 1, 1, 0, and 1. So technically speaking, this is also right, I think. But the only possibility that we send this one in this state should be something that I should consider. For example, 1, 1, 0, and then 1 goes back here. If it's like that, then what's the difference between this and this? I want to see that. Because if I say 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, okay. Another interesting fact is that we try to keep the arrows not very far away from the accepting. We try our best to keep it on the closest. But in this case, I'm just contemplating the difference between if I place this arrow here in this state instead of this state, what would be the difference? If I send it a 1 in this state, so we could be like 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, okay. And in this other situation, 1, 1, 1, 1, so let's move forward with this question and let's look at it. That it says that the set of words that contain the substring 0, 0, 0 anywhere in the word. So for now, it just says it should contain 0, 0, 0 anywhere in the word. And whenever we are making questions like these, our main target is to understand the potential, what are the accepting words and what are the non-accepting words. So I might say, okay, 1, 0, 0, 0 is accepted because it has a triple zero, but this is not accepted because it doesn't really have a triple zero. So it should have it anywhere. It doesn't have to be beginning or end. We start with a Q naught, of course. We go here, we say Q1, and then we say Q2. 1, 2, and it says the set of words that contains substring triple zero anywhere in the word. And now we already did it. This should be accepting because it contains it. But now what about 1? If it reads a 1, it can start from here and keep reading 1. What I potentially think is that if I give a 1 in a different sequence, then it can either, or it can also go back and read a 1 first. Anywhere in the word, which means, or maybe if I do it like this, that it goes on its own and reads one. So it either starts, yeah, but when it goes to the next point, it reads a 1, it can read a 0, it can read 1 as many times as it wants, but it will definitely contain zeros in the starting point. So it can say 1 or as many numbers of times, and then 0, and then 1 as many numbers of times, and then a 0, and then how many times as you want 1 or 0. That's also impossible. There's also this possibility. And what is going here is that there's infinite possibilities of 1, then zeros, then ones, then zeros, and then ones, and any possibilities of 1 or 0. The only constraint is that, can you make 1 0? Of course we satisfied the condition, because you cannot make this accepting without doing the three zeros. You cannot move forward until you have 3 zeros in the word. But it says the substring, either this is correct or either this needs to be like this. It contains a substring like that. But in this case, if it disturbs the word, we can also say, okay, go back to this place and read a 1. Go back to this place, read a 1. But then we don't give them the possibility to give. It says that contains a substring anywhere in the word. If that's the way, because I think it points out like this, three zeros, then it becomes a little different, right? And why it becomes different? Because it's not really a substring in a sequence. But of course, the question doesn't mention that it should give it in a sequence. Then I hope so. It's not a problem. We can just go back and read a 1 in that way. If the question wants us to do that, let's do it like this. If a question wants us to do something like that, then it wants us to read a 1 going all the way back here. If it wants us to read a 1, then go all the way back, because then you don't disturb the pattern that we are trying to make. And it will inevitably have the sequence of, for example, let's try not to make 000. So make 1 and then 0 and then 1 and then 1. It will not go ahead, and then when it goes 0 and it wants to move forward, it must do a 0, and then when it wants to move forward, it will have 0 and it will be accepted. So can I, generally speaking, make 1 0 1 0? Let's try to do that. 1 0 and okay, 0, 0. If the question wants to say that if it contains the string 3 zeros in anywhere in the word, then this would be the right, like this cannot, like, let's see, 1 0 1 0 1 0 and then 1. So if the question wanted that in the word there could be 3 zeros, and then that should be accepted. But this is not the question. I think the question says it has to be a substring 333. In that way, we lock the situation to be able to produce a 333 at the same. Yeah, so I just found out the problem with this one. Why is there's a problem with like the red one, and why is a problem with the black one? So say if you take the black one and it takes you all the way to Q1, that's where we have this partition where we have infinite zero loops, and that's accepting right now. And if you look at the word can have 1 1 something here and then a 0 0, because we have an infinite loop. We allow infinite loop in Q0. And if that happens, then we basically broke the rule that after 1 1 there should be no pair of consecutive zeros if we do the black one. That's why we have to remove the black one and we have to do the red one. And that's the right solution, this one, the red arrow. That's the difference.